Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into something really fascinating, bringing the futuristic and, let's face it, highly complex world of machine learning directly into the classroom. If you've been tracking the rapid advancements in tech lately, you know the learning curve can be, well, incredibly steep. But what happens when we take that giant curve, totally flatten it out, and bring it right down to the foundational level of early education? That's exactly what we're going to unpack today. So let's start with a really provocative question. How do we actually prepare the next generation for the future? We're going to look directly at a highly focused source text that was designed to do exactly that. We usually think of advanced computing, AI, and complex algorithms as these things locked away in university research labs or massive tech corporations. But the source material we're examining today, it completely flips that assumption on its head. It literally asks us to consider future preparation starting at the absolute ground level.
Section 1, the Machine Learning Primer. Now, this single sentence practically contains the entire scope of our analysis. It packs a massive, sprawling technological field into a super targeted educational framework. We've got machine learning on one side of the equation, a field completely defined by complex algorithms and massive data sets, and then school students right there on the other side. It's just a bold, direct declaration of intent. The authors are purposely merging high-tech concepts with early foundational education.
Section 2, focusing on the introduction.
The word primer is absolutely critical here. It establishes a clear ground-up approach to a deeply complex technology. It's kind of like, it acknowledges that to build a skyscraper of knowledge in machine learning, you literally have to pour a solid, easy-to-understand foundation first. So it's definitely not some theoretical treatise or a masterclass for industry professionals. Instead, it's the fundamental building block.
And this illustrates a brilliant linguistic bridge. It weighs the formal, almost academic phrasing of a primer on machine learning against the highly accessible, beginner-friendly entry point of an introduction for school students. It just perfectly balances the advanced nature of the topic with real approachability. The text takes a concept that typically requires an advanced computer science background and deliberately packages it into an introductory vessel. It completely strips away all that intimidation factor.
Section 3, empowering school students.
To really understand the true utility and the sheer ambition of this text, we have to look at the exact demographic that's targeted to absorb this knowledge. It's one thing to write a primer, right? But it's quite another to specify the exact group that needs to consume it. The target audience ultimately defines the entire tone, the structure, and really the potential societal impact of the whole learning experience.
And that target is school students. Just think about the massive paradigm shift that represents. Subjects that were considered strictly postgraduate material just a few short years ago are now being formatted for the everyday classroom. That represents an absolutely unprecedented acceleration in how we distribute highly technical knowledge to younger generations. It's a real game changer.
The methodology here follows a really logical progression. First, provide a primer. Second, frame it as a safe introduction. And third, put it right into the hands of the youth. It starts by establishing a foundational text, frames it carefully so it doesn't overwhelm the learner, and then, boom, places it directly into the education system. It's all about empowering them to start building their technological literacy right from the absolute beginning.
So, synthesizing our source, we see three core pillars coming together. We have foundational learning, represented by the primer. We have an advanced subject, which is machine learning, and finally, a youth demographic, the school students. We're seeing this deeply intentional effort to bring high-level concepts down to everyday education. Basically, by merging these three elements, the source essentially creates a modern blueprint for democratizing technology.
Which brings us to our final and honestly most critical question. What actually happens to our world when today's school students master the basics of machine learning? What happens when the highly technical primer of today just becomes the baseline common sense of tomorrow? I'm going to leave you with that provocative thought to ponder, because this simple text for students is undoubtedly the very first step in unlocking our technological future. Thanks so much for joining me on This Explainer.